The first scream inside the council chamber did not come from a human. It came from High Arbiter Voruun when the projection wall showed a burning alien cruiser tumbling backward through space like a dead animal thrown by an invisible hand. The ship had been 12 miles long. Its shields were rated to survive the core heat of a dying star, yet the primitive vessel from Earth had punched through it with one single round of metal fired from a cannon so old the council database classified. It is museum technology. No one moved. The delegates of 74 civilizations watched the human ship drift through the debris field with its armor torn open and its engines bleeding blue fire. It was ugly, blocky, scarred. It looked less like a starship and more like a steel fortress dragged out of a grave. Across its burned hull, the name Resolute still glowed in broken white letters. Captain Elias Ward stood on the human bridge with blood running from his temple and one hand locked around the command rail. Around him alarms screamed. Half his crew lay dead or wounded. The bridge windows were spiderwebbed with cracks. The temperature had climbed past 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet his face was calm. On the council flagship, the alien observers whispered that the humans should surrender. Their engines were damaged. Their shields were gone. Their hull was open to vacuum in 6 compartments. The logical choice was retreat. Then, the Resolute turned toward the council's own fleet. Its forward railguns unfolded like jaws, and Captain Ward gave the order that made every alien in the chamber stop breathing. The human ship accelerated directly at them. Before that moment, humanity had been nothing more than a footnote in the council archives. Earth was a wet rock at the edge of mapped space. Its people had only recently broken the light barrier. Their vessels were slow compared to council cruisers. Their armor was heavy. Their weapons were loud. Their engines wasted fuel. Their soldiers still carried projectile rifles that kicked like angry machines against their shoulders. To the council, this made humans harmless. Dangerous to themselves, perhaps, but not to the galaxy. The first contact mission had been approved as a ceremonial inspection, a peaceful arrival, a chance for the council to show the small species where it belonged. High Arbiter Voruun had expected fear. He had expected obedience. He had expected the humans to bow beneath the sight of 10,000 miles of alien warships hanging over their moon. Instead, Earth went silent. No surrender signal came, no plea for mercy, no panic broadcast. For 3 hours, the council waited, in orbit while the planet below remained dark except for cities burning with emergency lights and military launch trails. Then 17 human warships rose from hidden oceans and mountain bunkers. The council laughed at first. The human ships were small. The largest was barely 4,000 feet long. They carried no crystal shielding, no gravity lances, no antimatter. Veil. Their hulls were layered in tungsten and carbon steel like ancient battlefield armor. Their command decks were buried deep behind hundreds of feet of metal because humans had designed them under one brutal assumption. They expected to be hit. The council's laughter ended when the first alien frigate lost its bow. Human Round had crossed 800 miles of space and struck with enough force to split the ship from nose to reactor. Then the unknown enemy arrived behind Earth. The sky beyond the moon tore open. Space bent inward as if something enormous had pressed its claws through reality. The council sensors screamed before the ships even appeared. Mass readings spiked beyond fleet scale. Radiation alarms drowned every command channel. Then the Voruun Harvesters emerged. They were not diplomats. They were not conquerors. They were extinction wearing metal skin. Their main vessel was 60 miles long and shaped like a black spear wrapped in moving armor plates. Around it swarmed thousands of smaller craft with crimson engines and blade-like wings. The council knew them from dead stars and empty systems. The Voruun did not occupy worlds. They cracked planets open and fed on the heat inside. High Arbiter Voruun ordered every council ship into defensive formation. His tactical engines calculated survival odds. Against the Harvester Spear and its planet-breaker core, the answer appeared in cold blue numbers. 0.0%. The council flagship shook as the first Voruun beam crossed the battlefield. It sliced through 3 cruisers and burned a scar across the moon visible for 700 miles. Alien captains began shouting over one another. Escape vectors filled the command display. Several council ships turned away from Earth. The humans did not. Captain Ward watched the Voruun spear align toward the planet where billions of human civilians waited under emergency shelters. His officers looked at him in silence because every calculation said the same thing. The Resolute could not stop that weapon. No human ship could. Ward wiped blood from his eye and ordered